Cruising seems fun and relaxing, but only if you choose the right stateroom. Sorry to break it, but most of the cruise cabin types on a ship that are advertised to be the best are actually the worst of all. Today we're going to go through the 10 worst cabins on a cruise ship. Now I should say right off the bat, if you're on a cruise ship, you're already doing pretty good. I'd still rather be in the worst cabin at sea than sitting at home making this video. You might completely disagree with one of the cabins I picked as the worst on a cruise ship. And that's okay. Just let us know in the comments below where I went wrong and make sure to subscribe. Let's dive in. If you like to be in bed before midnight, this one's for you. Some cabins are located directly above or below the ship's nightclubs, lounges, or piano bars. And while they look normal on the deck plan, they come with a built-in bass line. The low thump of subwoofers can travel right through the floor, making it feel like you're trying to sleep on top of a dance floor. Even if you don't mind music, the late-night laughter and footsteps can be relentless. Unless you plan to stay out just as late as the party crowd, these cabins are best left to the night owls. At first glance, a cabin above the ship's main theater might seem like a great central location. But come evening, it turns into a front row seat to every performance, whether you bought a ticket or not. Soundproofing between decks is minimal, so you'll likely hear every drumbeat, high note, and applause until the curtain drops. If the shows wrap up by 10 or 11 p.m., it might not be a deal breaker. But on some cruises, evening events run later or include rehearsals during the day. Unless you're a night owl or plan to attend every show yourself, you may find yourself humming along when all you really want is some peace and quiet. If you're someone who values a quiet morning, this cabin might test your patience. Staying directly below the pool deck means your wake-up call often comes from above, whether you like it or not. Early each morning, crew members begin prepping the deck, dragging loungers, setting up umbrellas, and moving carts. And yes, the sound of chairs scraping across hard flooring carries loud and clear into the cabins below. It's not just a quick shuffle either. It can go on for over an hour. Even with earplugs, it's tough to sleep through a symphony of metal and wheels. So if your dream cruise includes sleeping in, this cabin placement might turn that dream into an early rise. An ocean view cabin sounds lovely, until you open the curtains and, well, see a bright orange lifeboat staring back at you. Obstructed view cabins are often priced lower, and for good reason. Your view may be partially or fully blocked by lifeboats, machinery, or support beams. While it's still better than staring at a blank wall, it's not quite the postcard moment many cruisers expect. Some passengers don't mind, especially if they don't spend much time in the room. But if you booked that window for sunrise views or scenic moments at sea, this cabin could leave you feeling a little shortchanged. Always check the deck plan or ask your travel agent before locking one in. Adjoining cabins are great for families or groups who want to stay connected, but if you're not traveling with the folks next door, that extra door can be a real drawback. The shared interior door between adjoining rooms is typically thinner and less insulated than the main cabin walls. That means you'll hear more conversations, laughter, TV noise, or even snoring, whether you want to or not. And unless both rooms are booked under the same reservation, the door stays locked, offering no benefit, just less privacy. If peace and quiet are a priority, it's best to skip these and book a fully enclosed stateroom instead. Not all balcony cabins are created equal, especially when it comes to privacy. Some face inward toward promenades, open atriums, or interior courtyards, which means other passengers can see directly onto your balcony, and sometimes into your room. Even with curtains, it's hard to relax knowing someone might be watching from across the way. It kind of defeats the whole point of having a balcony as your private escape. You'll find yourself keeping the curtains drawn most of the time, and that defeats the purpose of paying for the view. If you value true privacy, these cabins might not be the peaceful retreat you hoped for. A balcony cabin sounds like the perfect private escape, until you realize it's directly beneath a busy public space like the pool deck or buffet. On some ships, these cabins jut out slightly, giving people above a clear view of your balcony. So while you're trying to enjoy a peaceful moment, someone in a swimsuit might be peering down at you with a plate of fries. It's not exactly the secluded ocean experience many cruisers imagine. And it's not just the visibility. These areas can be noisy too, with foot traffic and dragging chairs right above you. If you prefer a quiet, private balcony, this isn't the spot. If you're prone to motion sickness, the location of your cabin can make or break your cruise. Cabins at the very front or back of the ship tend to feel the most movement, especially in rough seas. Yes, the forward view is dramatic, and the aft wake is beautiful. But those spots also rock the most when the ship hits waves or wind. The middle of the ship, particularly on lower decks, is much more stable and tends to sway less. Even experienced cruisers sometimes get caught off guard by how much movement they feel in the wrong spot. So if you're sensitive to motion, book midship and stay steady. If you're not a morning person, steer clear of cabins near the ship's anchor mechanism, usually located at the front of the lower decks. When the ship arrives at port, the anchor chain gets released with a loud, metallic clatter that can jolt even the deepest sleeper awake. It's not a gentle rumble. It's a full-on industrial soundtrack, often before sunrise. Early risers and light sleepers might not mind, but if you're hoping to sleep in, this noise will absolutely ruin your morning. Unless you're fascinated by maritime equipment at 6 a.m., you're better off booking farther away. Lower deck cabins, often on deck 1 or 2, are usually the most budget-friendly options on the ship, but that lower price comes with some trade-offs. You're farther from the main action, meaning lots of elevator rides or stair climbs just to reach dining, entertainment, or the pool. And during busy times, the elevators can be slow or packed. These cabins also tend to have more engine vibration and occasional noise from below-deck operations. Yes, you'll save money, maybe even a lot, but unless you're ready for extra walking and a little more noise, it might not feel like much of a bargain.
Most cruisers avoid inside cabins like the plague. No windows, no views. Some say it's like sleeping in a shoebox at sea. So why do I keep booking them over and over again? Well, after more than 30 cruises and thousands of dollars saved, I can tell you this: inside cabins are one of the most underrated travel hacks in cruising. They're not glamorous, they're not scenic, but they've let me travel farther, cruise more often, and actually enjoy my vacations more. And today, I'm going to show you why I always choose an inside cabin, even when I could afford something bigger. Plus, I'll share the unexpected perks most cruisers don't realize, including how one of my balcony upgrades totally backfired. Let's get into it. Let me be brutally honest. I wouldn't be able to cruise half as much if I didn't choose inside cabins. These rooms have saved me thousands of dollars, and I'm not exaggerating. While everyone else is overpaying for ocean views and balconies they barely use, I'm stretching my budget and going on twice as many cruises. One time, I compared 2 identical sailings. Same ship, same itinerary. The inside cabin, $900 cheaper. That's an entire Caribbean shore excursion package, flight upgrade, and drink package. All covered by what I didn't spend on a view I'd barely be in the room to see. And here's the real trick no one talks about. Book early, then reprice often. Cruise prices can drop weeks before departure, and if you haven't hit final payment, you can usually rebook at the lower rate. It's how I've saved hundreds of dollars mid-booking, sometimes without lifting a finger. Most people don't realize this, but inside cabins aren't a downgrade. They're a strategy. This might sound crazy, but inside cabins are actually some of the quietest places on the entire cruise ship. Yeah, the rooms people say are cramped and claustrophobic, they're also the only place where you can actually escape the noise. See, on one cruise, I stayed in a promenade view room, a window cabin that looked out over the ship's interior boardwalk. It sounded fun on paper, until midnight karaoke started echoing through the walls. Kids were screaming, glasses clinking. The hallway lights never dimmed. We barely slept. But the next cruise, I went back to my trusty inside cabin. No windows, no noise, no distractions, just pure silence and the darkest sleep I've had in years. And here's the trick. If you book an inside room that's sandwiched between other cabins, away from the theater, elevators, or nightclubs, it becomes your own personal sleep sanctuary. No footsteps above you, no bass thumping from the nightclub, just you, your pillow, and blackout-level silence. I didn't realize how much I valued peace until I finally got it. This might be the biggest surprise of all. Inside cabins, the cheapest rooms on the ship, actually give you the best sleep you'll ever have on vacation. No balcony, no window, no sunlight, and that's exactly why they work. One cruise, I stayed in a balcony cabin facing the ocean. Gorgeous view. But every single morning, the sun came blasting through the curtains at 6 a.m. like a spotlight. I couldn't sleep in, even when I wanted to. The next cruise, I went back to my usual inside cabin, and it was a total game changer. I slept 9 hours straight. No alarms, no light leaks, no interruptions, just pure, uninterrupted blackout. And here's the thing most people don't realize. It doesn't matter if it's 3 p.m. or 3 a.m. In an inside cabin, your body thinks it's midnight. That means instant naps, deeper sleep, and more energy for your actual vacation. On port-heavy cruises, when you're waking up early and walking 10,000 steps a day, that kind of rest is everything. You didn't come on vacation to wake up tired. You came to feel amazing. And ironically, the room that helps you do that is the one most people overlook. You might think an inside cabin is cramped, awkward, and barely livable. But here's the truth. These rooms are way more functional than people give them credit for. And in some cases, they actually work better than bigger cabins. Let me explain. On one of my first cruises, I was nervous about booking an inside room. I imagined bumping into furniture, nowhere to put my things, no space to move. Basically sleeping in a closet at sea. But when I walked in, I was shocked. Everything had a place. The closet was full-sized. The bed was huge. Even the nightstands had drawers, the vanity doubled as a desk, and there was hidden shelving I didn't even notice at first. It was like being in a tiny, perfectly engineered spaceship. Compact but efficient, and way more comfortable than I expected. And here's what no one tells you. Cruise lines know these rooms are small, so they've designed them down to the centimeter. You're not just getting a cheaper cabin, you're getting a space that's been optimized for actual travelers. So unless you're planning to stay in your cabin all day, which, let's be honest, you won't feel like you're missing anything. In fact, you might start wondering, why were you paying more for space you never used? Let's be honest. Have you ever bought something expensive and then felt like you had to force yourself to use it just to feel like it was worth it? That's exactly what happened when I booked my first suite on a cruise. The room was gorgeous, massive balcony, comfy couch, even extra perks like a priority check-in. But halfway through the cruise, something weird happened. I started stressing about whether I was using it enough. Should I be relaxing more in the room? Should I skip this show and enjoy the balcony? Should I stay in and get my money's worth? Suddenly, I wasn't thinking about what I wanted to do. I was thinking about what I should do to justify the price. Now compare that to cruising in an inside cabin. I sleep, I shower, I leave. That's it. And because I'm not paying for luxury, I don't feel obligated to use it. No guilt, no pressure, no second-guessing my fun. I can spend my days exactly how I want, from sunrise at the buffet to late-night karaoke, without once thinking, should I be in my room right now? Sometimes, the best value isn't what gives you more. It's what gives you the freedom to enjoy everything else. What if I told you some inside cabins actually have a view, even though there's no window at all? I didn't believe it at first either, but it's real, and it's kinda genius. On some of Royal Caribbean's newer ships, you can book an inside cabin with something called a virtual balcony, a massive floor-to-ceiling screen that shows you the exact live view from outside the ship. Waves rolling, sunrises, even port arrivals, all in real time. The first time I stayed in one, I walked in and thought, wait, am I in the wrong room? Because it actually felt like a balcony cabin, even though I was paying inside cabin prices. And Norwegian? They've gone a step further. They now have solo cabins with built-in virtual windows just for one-person stays, and they're surprisingly cozy. Now, does it feel exactly like having a real balcony? Of course not. You can't step out, smell the ocean, or hear the wind, but it gives you the illusion of space, and sometimes that's all you need to feel a little less boxed in. It's kind of like cruise ship magic. using tech to make a small room feel big. And if you've ever worried about feeling claustrophobic in an inside cabin, this just might be the feature that changes your mind. Let me tell you about the time I upgraded to a balcony cabin and instantly regretted it. We were cruising around Iceland. Glaciers, fjords, absolutely breathtaking. I figured, you know what? I deserve this. So I paid an extra $300 for a balcony cabin, thinking I'd spend every morning sipping coffee with a view. But the moment we set sail, I realized I had made a mistake. Our neighbors? Let's just say they didn't care about the no-smoking policy, or the fact that marijuana is banned on board. They were lighting up on the balcony, constantly. Every time I stepped outside to enjoy the view, it hit me like a wall. Not ocean breeze, not fresh air, smoke, all day. We reported it. The cruise line handled it professionally, but for those first few days, my expensive upgrade, completely wasted. And that's when it hit me. Inside cabins don't have this problem. No balconies, no smoke drifting in, no awkward eye contact through glass dividers. Just walls. Soundproof. Problem-free. Inside cabins might be small, but they come with peace of mind you can't always buy, even if you upgrade. And if you think that's the only hidden downside of balcony cabins, wait until you hear this next one.